victory celebration. But we'll have to see, you know, this is going to be pulling out all the stops. This could determine the winner right here and right now.
So one thing I want to talk about is when they do get down to that team fight, right? Ash does have that long range enchanted crystal arrow, so as long as he's able to snipe a good target, primarily anyone that is not Olaf, they're gonna have good initiation. As long as Vlad drops a good ulti and Cassiopeia drops a good ulti, they're going to be able to chunk everybody on CLG's team to about half hit point. And at that point, if Hotshot decides to use his Ragnarok and rush at Cassiopeia, you know, if their entire team switch focus to Hotshot and kills him, he's actually not going to be that tanky, because just because of all the AoE damage, they've done a fair share of damage to everybody, and then they just need to do a minor focus on Hotshot, and they should be able to mellow him out as long as he doesn't get fed early game.
I mean, they definitely have that AoE frontline up and center. We do have a decent comp early on for CLG. We'll have to see. Both teams want to be a little bit defensive here. Definitely don't want to start off at a disadvantage. So Maokai will be safe going after his blue. Not going to start race, it seems, which is a pretty common start for Maokai. It allows him to get level 4 extremely quickly, but it also opens up that ganking opportunity because you know if Maokai is going to be sitting there, obviously you can just rush as a team.
Yeah. So one thing I want to talk about is if you look at the mini-map, right, you look at the positioning of CLG and TSM, they've gotten every single entrance and exit along the river covered. When people know that they don't want a team fight and they just want to know the enemy's position so maybe they can counter when they invade, they split up like that. That way they have an early warning if the enemy is going to enter at any point. And at that point they can say, hey, say Olaf is invading our jungle or Rise is invading our jungle, collapse on them. You know, they know where at least one person is, and as long as they're all there, they're going to be able to counter.
And so we do see good vision for all the teams. Sona with the great ward up top, recognizing that Maokai is an aggressive ganker very early on, and if Vladimir starts off early for his team, that could be a really easy win for TSM. Dyrus just snowballing in that top lane, but we'll have to see how it goes. What do you think are the keys to this game that we should be looking out for that we haven't already discussed?
The key to this game is just really, really strong gank from Maokai. As long as TSM doesn't feed and just play standard and just gank whenever there's an opportunity, I feel like they should be able to pull ahead in the early game. One thing you should expect is, St. Vicious is on Shyvana. Shyvana is a very, very strong counter jungling champion, especially against Maokai. So Maokai will be counter jungled for a good portion of the time. However, since he is a very, very strong ganker, he will be ganking at that time. So, in terms of him falling behind, he'll definitely be behind in CS. But in terms of his contribution to the team, I feel like as long as he's doing something, he's applying pressure, getting counter jungled isn't going to hurt him too bad.
And now this is something I kind of always wonder about. Olaf, definitely has a lot of burst potential early on. Can maybe control the lane against Dyrus. Oh, actually, we have a quick gank there. Missing that for a second. But Olaf has that gank potential, but going with the blue, actually, again, double lift being aggressive bot. Going with the blue early, using his mana to help out his jungler, it does kind of, hurt his lane.
It does. It definitely hurts his lanes. He just probably recognized it right now, because one thing about Olaf is in order to land his double strike, I think it's called... I totally forgot the name. I skipped my mind.
Let me take a look at it real quick. Reckless Swing and Undertow.
Swing. In order to land his Reckless Swing, he needs to land his Undertow to actually slow them enough where he can catch up and continually just chain that damage. So when he had burned about, say, 60% of his mana helping the jungler at the beginning, he's unable to follow that up on Vladimir. So he lost a lot of pressure that he could have applied to Vladimir. So I felt like if Olaf was going to win the lane, he has to win it early, and if he doesn't win it early, he's going to fall behind later.
And so we did have that early ward from Sona helping protect Hotshot up here from the odd one. He does have the double buffs, is trying to get in on those ganks, and actually Cassiopeia coming over doesn't have a ward, so maybe coming over for a gank as well. We'll see if they dive them under the tower. Dyrus is pushing up, and that's what it seems like is going to happen here.
Hotshot is really behind. He is behind a level because he did go back and farm, so his hit point pool is actually very low.
Odd one taking the tower a little bit, but there's the ghost from Dyrus. We do have some damage coming off from Reginald. Hotshot going to be able to get out of there. Really aggressive play, not quite able to follow up on it. I almost felt like Odd One could have just run to the other side, so he'd be in range for the snare.
He goofed it up a little. Had he waited and not tanked the tower, he could have easily just flashed onto Olaf and have his entire team just collapse on him and get that first blood. Because he had tank tower, he was forced to run back out and drop aggro, because if he landed that initial twist advance, I believe Reggie and Vlad just needed to land that initial Q WE combo with an ignite, and Olaf would have dropped and died.
And so we actually see bot lane Doublelift and Chaucer with that really aggressive harass being extremely effective against Chaox. He is out of health potions. He does have Xpecial here, but Xpecial almost out of mana. So really struggling with the farm here. Wow, all that burst from Doublelift. They probably won't, go in for the kill. We actually, Shyvana's coming down, so maybe they will go in for the kill. St. Vicious coming in behind them. They do have the red buff. We'll see whether or not they can pick up this kill. Doublelift can, always clear to the other side of the tower. There's a little bit of burst, and now St. Vicious is coming in here. Who's going to be taking the tower is key, though. There's the exhaust on the Chaox, and going down very quickly for the first blood. Chaucer taking some damage, but Doublelift, we'll see if he chases him, but we have the rest of TSM en route, so they definitely need to get out of here. Reginald going to be dueling with St. Vicious here a little bit. Not going to be getting that damage off, but Odd One over that wall. He's definitely going to have to watch out for that quick gank, but even so, a great job by CLG for that early first blood.
So one thing I want to mention is both TSM and CLG had the same idea of just, getting behind the tower and getting that early gank in. And really, I felt like whoever got that first gank in is going to have a really clear advantage in the game. And I felt like TSM had the opportunity to pull far ahead, but they messed up, and CLG actually picked up the advantage instead.
And it's interesting, Graves, one of the best early base stats in the game for any AD carry with his passive. It's just so strong, making him tanky, and then he's got great auto attack animation, great damage against Ashe, who is one of the worst starting base in the game. So that early advantage, will we start to see Graves be able to pressure Ashe some more, be able to maybe zone Chaox from being able to get the levels he needs?
Definitely, Chaox needed to not die, needed to not fall behind, because if he falls behind too early, Graves is going to get to the point where he's going to be able to burst down Ashe with Sona in just a QWER combo. And the more farm he gets and the more behind Chaox gets, the easier it's going to be. And at this point, I feel like he's not too far behind, but he's definitely has a lot of threat and a lot of pressure from Graves and Sona, especially when they both hit level 6. He has the defensive arrow to get away, but they really just need to land their full combo, and he's going to be almost dead, if not dead.
So primarily, TSM, they know that Cassiopeia is one of the best champions in the game at dealing with Dragon and Baron. Do you think that we'll see Reginald coming towards this bot lane, trying to pick up kills once Ashe has the arrow, or are they primarily going to be trying to use Ashe to get kills on other lanes?
I feel like bot is a little bit behind, so ganking them is a little bit harder, but if Cassio is able to get in there, he should be able to pick up a kill with Ashe's arrow.
And obviously that is going to be difficult with Chaucer here, but we actually see TSM going for the aggressive dragon once again, because Reginald Cass is just such a strong early game champion. We did have Ryze and Shyvana start going towards that top lane, and so TSM going to be able to pick up this dragon, get that early advantage back in their favor. So, coming into the, as the game progresses, Big Fat, obviously Ryze, one of those, great tanky casters throughout the game. Olaf, extremely tanky. He is one of those original kind of hyper carry champions as a melee. How effective will they be if they can get some farm, maybe snowball a little bit early in this game?
I feel like if CLG does get some farm, it's going to be a very hard game for TSM, just because they already have the type of comp where they should win early
but
game.
There's the ult from St. Vicious. Dyrus following it up, not going to be able to pick it up just barely, but Hotshot chasing him down, does have the ignite. There's the pull, dodging the cleave, and here's Odd One coming in. Cassiopeia following it up. There's the slow. We do have Dyrus with that range. The cleave is on cooldown, so he will be chasing Odd One. Let's see if he's going to tank it. Going to back off for a second here. In the meantime, Doublelift and Chaucer chasing down this bottom lane. They were able to take the turret and be extremely aggressive there as well. So TSM going to be able to take this top tower, continue pressuring Olaf, get Dyrus that early farm. How key is that to get Dyrus off to a good start, get him really strong as that carry Vladimir?
Basically, I feel like Vlad and Cassiopeia are the two best scaling champion on TSM. And so if they're going to be carried, it's going to be carried by those two, just because of the damage output from those two champions.
Oh, but the ult from Chowster and Double Lift following it up with the fantastic burst damage. And so, that's the kind of burst damage they have in that bottom lane.
That's the kind of burst damage I was talking about. You know, you give them that slight advantage. Really, all Chowster and Double Lift has to do is just roll their finger across QWER, and it's going to give Ashe every time.
We have the CLG chance going off. It is pretty even, but CLG with a slight early advantage. They do have the bottom tower. Dyrus definitely with an advantage top, so that'll be interesting to see whether or not Hotshot can play against that sustain. And, you know, Reginald been very safe so far in this game. Good ward coverage around the rivers, been extremely aggressive, hasn't really had to worry about the ganks mid too much.
Like, one thing I like to see more is just a lot more pressure from Maokai on mid, because with the Cassiopeia Maokai mid combo, he should be able to chunk Rise at least the first time and get a kill the second time around. However, both entry to ganking mid is warded, so it's going to be very, very hard for Maokai, but as long as he picks up an Oracle soon, he should be able to, you know, make a turnaround and apply enough pressure mid.
And we actually see Odd One coming right up this mid lane. Chowster throwing the ward there, so again, wanting to know where TSM is at all times. But the flash twisted advance from Maokai is always such a deadly gank. It's honestly one of the scariest ganks in the lane. We'll have to see, you know, Double Lift again pushing extremely aggressively. That ward from Sona allows them to be a little bit more secure. They could probably use a ward at that blue buff. But, you know, Double Lift, very survivable, has that kind of escapability. He has that quick draw, which will allow him to dodge Ashe's arrow, you know, if they try for that hard engage.
So, like, the one thing I was telling you about that I was worrying about Chaos is, you know, you have a weaker lane.
Oh, Chaos, there it is, the dash over the wall. We do have the slow from Chowster, so Double Lift is going to be able to get another combo. Will not be able to get it. The ultimate almost grabbing it. We did have the ultimate, but there's the Ashe arrow following it up. Cassiopeia coming down the lane. Chaos slowing him down. Can Double Lift get out of here? He will turn back, dealing some damage, but it's very close. Reginald is en route, but just barely able to get out. Chowster with the movement speed, able to get them to a clear, safe distance.
That could have been really, really bad for either side. If Double Lift overcommitted just a little bit more, he would have put himself far enough forward that TSM Reginald could have just caught up and slowed him and just probably kill him within about 2 seconds. So, you know, it was really, really, actually thought he would have killed Chaos with his ultimate, but it actually didn't. And he used his heal. And it kind of say, oh man, I'm not going to be able to get this kill anymore. He just used his heal. I'm going to back out. So
honestly, it looked like Chaos used the heal a second too late, because
he did. He used it immediately after Graves' ult hit him. So if it was going to kill him, he would have died without being able to use heal.
Yeah, so a really dangerous situation. We see Dyrus starting to pressure top. You know, recognizes he has that great range harass. TSM, again, slightly behind, but they always have that huge fight potential. They have the great initiation. They have all the burst damage to follow it up. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, whether or not they can get these kind of engages that they want, how CLG will deal with it. They definitely have a nice tanky team. They have a, you know, nice core themselves for team fights.
You know, as long as they drag this out and control Dragon, they should be fine, because with Maokai, Cassiopeia, and Vlad, all the AoE damage is going to work really, really well against what CLG has. The only real threat that they're going to have late game right now, I feel, is going to be Graves, just because of all his early game kills and his farm. Olaf is shut down pretty well up top against Vlad, and Cassiopeia is going to be able to do pretty well against Rise late game as well.
And so Vladimir able to take that top turret. They recognize that the blue buff is going to be so devastating for Reginald not to have. A little bit of a duel going off there between Dyrus and Hotshot, but the counter jungling for CLG, very effective so far. We do see Reginald coming over here to steal their blue as well, but all of CLG is in pursuit. We'll see whether or not they come in. Reginald will have to throw off the ultimate, getting a lot of damage. Dyrus, in the meantime, is exhausted. There's the Maokai Twisted Advance, followed by the Sona ultimate. Chowster going to be chasing him down. We do have the kill. Reginald going down. Dyrus was okay in the meantime, and so another kill for CLG. In the meantime, Graves actually able to burst down Ashe bottom, so just recognizing how much damage potential he has. Ashe can't even lane there anymore, even with her defensive abilities.
Like, one of my biggest concerns early was, you know, if Ashe naturally is the weaker champion. You know, she lost that early kill, that second kill, that third kill. So at this point on, if Ashe puts out any type of aggression without his team being there, I feel like he's just going to die over and over. You know, at first it was just, you need Ashe, I mean, you needed Graves and Sona to be there to kill him. And at this point, you just need Graves to kill him. And that's the point where you don't want to be when you're a bottom lane AD, where you cannot just simply survive the one-on-one fight against the other AD carry.
And so CLG going to be able to take up this dragon. That is going to be huge for them, you know, continuing their lead up 3-1 right now. Graves, just such a monster this game. Pretty even lane top, but we do see a pretty significant advantage for Dyrus. He's actually 40 CS ahead of Olaf. Just all that ganking pressure up top, putting Hotshot behind, definitely going to be extremely effective for TSM coming in the mid game. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's a back and forth kind of thing. There's always that threat that TSM is going to just pick someone off, just take a huge advantage, but it seems like CLG is doing pretty well so far. So what does CLG want? Do they just kind of want more of the same, good map control to avoid the ganks and just, you know, try and play a smart, safe game?
I feel like if CLG is gonna win this game, it's gonna be them taking advantage of Chaot's bottom lane. They need to keep on picking him off, taking his tower and pressuring people around the map, forcing Chaos to go bottom and farming after a while, and just finding those 5v4 fights, because Chaos is going to have that pressure to up his farm because he's going to be so far behind, and it's going to make him split from his team into farm. And when you're halfway across the map, even though you have that global arrow, it's very, very hard to land, and really fighting 5v4 is just always going to be beneficial. So if you feel, I feel like if CLG is going to pull a big advantage, it's going to be through Chaos primarily, just because...
Oh, there's the arrow, just barely missing Big Fet. They were lining up, trying to get that gank going. But in the meantime, we actually have Saint Vicious and Double F chasing Dyrus. They're actually going to tank this under the turret, but here's the twisted advance from Maokai, just barely out of turret range. Dyrus coming back, and we do have Cassiopeia and Soraka coming up, so they're chasing him out here. Jouster is coming up, though. He does have his ultimate, so his ultimate will be available. Rise going to be chasing Reginald there, so CLG trying to get out of here. We'll see whether he turns on him. Olaf in the meantime facing off against Ashe bottom. Ashe is okay, she will be able to kite him, but CLG able to narrowly avoid that. Almost a big fight for TSM.
Oh, that was so dangerous. You know, Maokai almost got Shyvana under tower, and you know, he twisted advance on her. Ashe, he's ulting away, so he got sent slightly outside of tower range.
And so we have seen some aggression from TSM. They do have that top tower down. Dragon won't be up for another 4 minutes, so not a huge objective that TSM can really pressure to try pull and pull CLG out of position. Do you think that there's a point where maybe they try, you know, pushing down towers as a team to try and pull CLG to the defense, knowing that TSM has all of this AoE damage and team fight potential right now?
I think what TSM wants to do at this point is they want to just have Chaos farm bottom, push that lane out. Once it starts shoving the other way where it's not safe for him to farm, he's going to look for the arrow CD and roam either mid or top and try to land just a really, really long shot arrow, because you know, landing a well-placed long shot arrow is going to set up a really, really easy gank for whoever he lands it on.
It is nice that Chaos can just, you know, hold this lane here. It is frozen. He does have the momentum coming his way, so he can get that farm back, even though he was so far behind Graves early. Olaf, in the meantime, you know, is generally pretty survivable, but his ghost is down, so it'd be interesting to see whether or not TSM spaced out a gank. If they forced him to use his ultimate for an Ashe arrow and then followed up with a twisted advance a little bit later, then there's always that potential for a kill there.
So one thing I want to point out is both Chaos and Hotshot lost their lane really, really badly, where neither of them can lane against the other person effectively. And so it was only a matter of time before they make the appropriate switch. So Hotshot's probably saying, I can't handle Vlad anymore, he's just too strong. So that prompted Graves to go up top. However, the thing is since bottom tower is dropped, if Olaf wants to farm and Ashe freezes, he's going to put himself in a lot of danger, and it's going to give him a lot of opportunities to mess up in bottom.
And so that's kind of what we're seeing now. Chaos getting a little bit of momentum, so it is pushing back to Hotshot. He can sit there and allow the lane to come back to him. It will pull Chaos out of position where maybe, you know, CLG sees a ganking opportunity there. I think TSM would probably be prepared. You know, they recognize that they could have that counter ganking opportunity, so Rise going to be able to pick up this blue. And in the meantime, Reginald and Odd1 pushing down this tower a little bit, just continuing to farm, steal those wraiths because he's so effective at pushing. So, you know, TSM, again, we know that they are looking for these aggressive engages. We know that CLG kind of wants to sit back for a little bit. They want to get Hot Shot back into this game. They want to maybe take advantages against Chaos. I don't know, is there any objectives in particular that either team should be focusing on right now, or is it really just waiting for Dragon to spawn in about a minute?
So, like, one thing I was talking about is just how Chaos, even though he's behind, he needs to make big plays. So now that his arrow is up, he's going to be looking for a target to hit, either top or bottom. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he throws a random arrow down mid in the next 10-15 seconds. And if it hits, they get a kill. If it doesn't, you know, he goes back to farming bottom when it shoves back, and then he tries again.
Yeah, and Big Fat, it is right before he gets his Banshees. Let me see how much gold he has. 1,000 gold, so almost finished with his Banshees, just 300 more. He will have it shortly. This is honestly the almost perfect opportunity, because I would assume with this double AP, he's going to want to get it quickly, going to want to avoid the Ash arrows, but we do have TSM pushing aggressively down this mid lane. We'll be able to take out this outer turret and then get that early advantage with that map control. And now we see TSM going to be grouping for Dragon now. It will be spawning shortly. So, you know, they will have that advantage. They definitely have a really strong teamfight team now. So, CLG recognizing that they're going to fall behind with this Dragon advantage, I'm assuming they don't want to defend it.
They're just going to give it up. One thing you can't do is you can't contest Dragon when the other team has an Ashe and you're behind on players. Because it doesn't matter where you are, she's going to be able to stun you and have her team follow up and maybe pick up a kill or two. So at this point, they know that Graves is not there, and they're not going to be able to get there in time to pick up Dragon or stop it. So they said, hey, we're just going to give it up, and we're going to try for it next time.
So a nice little 2K gold advantage for TSM, even though CLG is up 3-1. CLG, you know, definitely has a very strong jungler with Shyvana. We see him coming up now. St. Vicious going to steal these wraiths. I don't know. I'm kind of wondering whether or not we'll see more aggressive warding from TSM, knowing that they want to get these good engages. We don't have an Oracles currently on any of CLG, so TSM can take map control there. Is there, you know, anything in particular, I mean, any area where you think ward would definitely be beneficial for TSM, or is it just they want to have them scattered all over the place, get those aggressive Ash arrows?
As soon as they feel safe to walk past river, to drop a ward, I believe they will do that, because, you know, they don't have enough vision, they don't know where the enemy is. As soon as they see enough people on the map, as soon as they have wards and they're in position to do so, they're going to start warding deeper, because as soon as outside towers are dropped, they're forced to go deeper to farm or to push the next tower. And one thing you don't want to happen is to have the enemy team flank you. So I wouldn't be surprised if the wards go down in the next couple of minutes.
And again, both teams are, you know, kind of hesitant to make a move. They recognize, CLG recognizes how strong TSM is right now if they pick anyone off. TSM, it's about that time where they could start pressuring Baron, considering they already have the double Will of the Ancients, considering how much damage Cassiopeia brings to the table. Is that something that you think we'll see shortly, or do they maybe have to hold off a little bit?
The thing with Baron is they have the capability to do it. It's just whether they think CLG will be there to stop them. So it comes down to the positioning of each player on the other team. Basically, if you can get Dragon for free, you're definitely going to want it. But the threat of the enemy stopping you is just very, very high. And at this point in the game, it's so even that they can't tank Baron.
But here it is. We do have the engage. TSM running up on CLG. There is the ultimate. So they actually could follow. They are going to turn back, though. I thought maybe they could just keep on chasing, wait until Olaf's ultimate is down. But with his ultimate down, they definitely have that potential to bait down Baron. They know that Graves is bottom. Vladimir is as well. Do you think that, you know, Vladimir should be moving up to his team? Are they going to be looking for that bait now that Olaf's ultimate is down?
Definitely. You want to force something. You want to make something happen when the enemy has a CD down. And they recognize that Hotshot does have his Ghost down, does have his Ragnarok down. So he's very, very vulnerable. He's not going to be able to run in and zone and CC and take out one person, because he can be very easily just CC'd and burst it down as easily as the other guys. And so back to the part where why Ashe didn't arrow Olaf. He probably felt that he wasn't gonna kill him anyways, because Olaf does have Ghost. Even if the arrow landed, his team would have been too far behind for them to follow up sufficiently. And when you're extending that deep, it leaves your team vulnerable to being ganked as well.
And we do have CLG checking the Baron. I thought, you know, we had a second there. All four of TSM was all grouped mid. St. Vicious walked through, was kind of, you know, around that bottleneck area where he's coming from the river to mid. I thought maybe we would see an aggressive Ash arrow there. I think St. Vicious maybe just barely out of range. So, you know, we'll see TSM, you know, Chaos definitely has that twitch finger, going to be waiting to pick someone off quickly. So when it happens, it's just going to go down. We do have Big Fat going to be able to get his blue. That's going to be huge. He did not go for his Banshee's Veil yet. He actually went for the cooldown reduction, which, you know, is pretty common, but I was kind of thinking that because Ashe is the only physical damage, because Ashe doesn't deal that much damage currently, that he would want the Banshees to prevent the ult, you know, from engaging on him.
Basically, him getting that Glacial Shroud is him saying, I am confident that Ashe isn't going to hit me with that arrow, and I am confident that I'm not going to be bursted down. Him getting the Glacial Shroud means that it's not a matter of me stopping their damage, it's about me putting out more damage. Ryze's damages is heavily reliant on the CDR that he has, so getting the extra 15 or 20% CDR from the Glacial Shroud is going to basically improve his damage by 20%.
And so we do see Chowster does have that Oracles now, so they do have good map control over Baron. Odd One going to come in here, clear out some of these wards, and now because of this Oracles, we'll see if they can bait them in. They do have the sapling there, so they will have good vision. There's a ward going down from Xpecial. See if they can get them in. There is the ward in the Baron pit, so they haven't seen that yet. But we'll see whether or not they can pull them out of position and whether or not CLG kind of falls for it. CLG definitely, you know, they have a nice mix of damage, they have a nice mix of survivability. So if they can survive through the initial burst that TSM has, survive particularly through that Cassiopeia ult, then, you know, there's a high potential for them to turn around the fight with all of that sustained damage that they have, you know, for their team.
It's definitely, if they can survive the burst and position really well, they can definitely win a fight. However, you know, you got to keep in mind the damage is huge. They can't have more than 3 people get hit by multiple AoEs. If 3 people get hit by Vlad AoE and Cassiopeia AoE, I feel like TSM has already won the fight.
And Ashe is bottom, still is, you know, has that ultimate range. Actually, the ward misplaced for Xpecial, I'm sorry, that was from CLG over the wall. So Xpecial going to be able to take that down. Ashe just going to turn back and push down bottom a little bit. We have a little bit of harass going on from Reginald. But I don't know, we'll see. It's you know, about that point where the game is just going to explode. We do see Ashe continuing to get that farm. Needs to get up to his team because right now CLG has the advantage. We'll see whether or not they pressure. We do have the ward in here from TSM, so they know that they're going for Baron now. And CLG just actually starting it. They are trying to start a fight here, and TSM will be here shortly. Do you think that, you know, this is a fight that CLG can win, or is all this AoE too bad?
TSM can potentially win because they're going to be...
The arrow coming in. We did have St. Vicious coming in here. There's all this AoE damage. Reginald, where's your ultimate? It's already gone out, actually, so there it is. St. Vicious going down. Maokai coming into Double Lift, slowing him down a little bit, but Double Lift has that red buff, is okay. Dyrus going down. There it is. Chaos trying to get the kill, but not able to follow it up. So CLG actually able to win that fight. They are all very low, but able to use their single target damage and then just, you know, get away from TSM and not allow, you know, Chaos or Reginald to get the full damage that they wanted.
I felt like if TSM could have very easily won that fight. The moment they saw CLG run out of pit, they could have just easily backed out and wait for Ashe to regroup and just be there for the fight. Missing an AD carry for about 5 to 7 seconds of a fight can easily swing it from a 3 or 4 kill to losing 3 or 4.
And it's just astounding if you look at how farmed Dyrus and Double Lift are, both in control of their lanes. Dyrus, 260 CS almost, 27 minutes in as Vladimir. He is able to survive through any burst that CLG has with that Zhonya's. Double Lift on the other side has all of his burst damage. So the key is Ashe catching up, but at the same time, Chaos has been able to farm very effectively, is significantly ahead of Olaf, will have that nice range damage. So if TSM can, you know, get CLG in the pit, if they can get them all grouped up, we'll see how that AoE damage works out for them. But CLG definitely has a lot of control, you know, with the Sona ultimate, with the snare from Ryze, and right now control over the Baron. So they have to force TSM to bring the fight to them.
So one thing CLG knows is TSM CD is definitely still on cooldown.
And here is actually an arrow. Ashe wasn't there, but there is the arrow hitting St. Vicious. We'll see if they go in on this. Hotshot using his ultimate. TSM definitely probably wants to disengage, so we see the Shirelias from the Odd One allowing them to back off. CLG not pursuing it, didn't want to all walk up into that AoE, and that threat, you know, really scary for them. Hotshot, his ultimate is down, so there it is. St. Vicious engaging Odd One with that twisted advance. All that damage from Double Lift, that AoE damage, but TSM is going to win this fight. It is huge. We have Chaos flashing after Big Fat. Can he get the slow? There is there's the slow. Big Fat LP turning back into it, but goes down, and now TSM is going to be able to take this Baron. This is going to be a Baron. That was a 2-for-0 fight. Double lift over this wall, has a lot of burst damage, but definitely doesn't want to walk into the team. So TSM, with that great Baron potential that they have, will be able to take this and continue with their lead in this game.
I feel like TSM can very easily get this Baron. There's one thing about Maokai's passive is it's going to keep him very, very healthy throughout the fight, and even if you're low in health, you're able to do Baron and not lose.
Wow, so Chaos able to pick up the kill on the double lift. He's actually chasing after Hotshot now. Can he get the slow? He's fast enough, just barely able to get out of range. So Chaos maybe see some nice kiting there if Hotshot turned back into him, but another kill for Chaos. You know, this is huge. It's 5-5, but they are up 5,000 gold. They have all these towers pushed down, all those dragons. That Baron will allow them to be even more aggressive, but at the same time, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how much pushing capability they have. They have all of this wave clearing potential. Reginald can just constantly pile on the waves on CLG, zone them underneath the tower. So do you think that TSM is going to push mid using that Cassiopeia to try and zone CLG?
I think at this point in the game, with Baron buff and blue buff, and the gold advantage they have, they're going to be able to just keep on taking each outside tower. They might start with bottom, rotate to mid, and then rotate to top. And so, really, I feel CLG doesn't have anything to defend against Cassiopeia, Ashe, and Vladimir. Vladimir can just walk in, have 4-stack tides, and hit E once, and just decimate an entire wave. Same with Ashe, he can just throw out a volley. Maokai can throw down saplings to clear waves. So there's going to be no creeps under CLG's tower, and they're going to be eating just constant harass and poke from Maokai, Cassiopeia, and Ashe. And it's going to come to the point where they're going to lose so much HP that they're going to have to give up tower. You know, this isn't really the CLG poke comp, but there's enough poke component in it where if they slip up just a little bit, they're going to get hit. Not chunk, but, you know, you get hit enough. You're going to be low enough where one team can take advantage of that.
Chaos going to work on St. Vicious, taking him below half health, is going to be pushing down that bottom lane. We'll see if TSM, with the split push, is trying to pull them out of position in this jungle. They definitely have the option for engaging, maybe even go after this red buff. Double lift right now is going to be going for it. They don't have the best ward control, so it would be kind of scary, but here now they see TSM coming mid lane. And in the meantime, Chaos still comfortable with farming, still comfortable with holding Shyvana bottom. Recognizes that, you know, if the team fight is centralized around one area. Wow, actually St. Vicious coming into Chaos. Chaos going to chase him down. There's the arrow, not able to hit it. So again, you know, Shyvana a little bit weak right now. We'll see whether or not Chaos comes mid and pushes with TSM.
That was a little odd because I felt like Chaos could have killed Shyvana. He understood that she was going to use her dragon form to ult away. That's why he delayed his arrow. And what he messed up on was he didn't understand the trajectory of dragon form, because once you hit dragon form, whatever direction you're going on, you're going to go there until you land. So it was, I felt like it was a very hittable arrow.
And so the arrow will be down, but it is a very short cooldown, so always an option, but you know, that kill definitely would have been devastating for CLG at this point. TSM so strong right now. Shyvana, again, pushing down that bottom lane, wants to just keep all the lanes pushed, and that's a lot of what we've seen from CLG is their ability to stall out games with that aggressive split push, not giving you the opportunity to push down lanes, but with how aggressive TSM's team is, it also opens up ganking opportunities, and that's always the concern for CLG.
The reason why CLG's split pushing comp works so well so many games is because the person that's split pushing is generally so strong that when they send somebody to stop them, that split pusher is generally able to kill that person. However, you know, CLG is so far behind where, you know, TSM can send just about anyone to stop the split pusher and maybe pick up a kill. And if the kill converts, TSM can then again just regroup as 5 and push afterwards with an advantage, and it's very easy for them to take towers.
So Saint pushing down bottom, Hotshot pushing down top. We see that double split, but Reginald going to be coming up, stopping this push down there. I'm a little bit surprised we don't see, you know, the gank, but here it is actually coming on to St. Vicious. Odd One going to be coming down. St. Vicious going to be able to get out of there. Odd One, you know, Shyvana and Hotshot on Olaf, they definitely are both very survivable. They have the movement speed to get out of ganks. The question is if you get a hard engage. And TSM definitely has that hard engage potential. We'll see whether Chaos chases him down. He does have that red buff. He does have his arrow, not going to throw it. So just comfortable with, you know, slowly pushing this lane, taking advantages, not allowing Shyvana to farm. and now TSM is going to be able to take this dragon and continue their advantage. We'll see, whether or not we see it in Ash Arrow shortly. We do have all of CLG grouped mid. After this dragon, TSM's in the perfect position to come in on them, and that arrow is going to be really difficult for Doublelift to avoid. He does actually hit Chouster, so here's the engage. Oddone coming in with the triple advance, and there it is. Chaos able to pick up the kill. Doublelift flashing over the wall, but the whole of TSM is pushing mid.
Basically, after they pick up the kill and they saw that Graves is running top, they know that it's going to take a while before he actually gets back, so they understand that if they just push down mid, they're able to get this tower before Graves actually make it back. So TSM is just going to take this tower really quick and back up and look for another push elsewhere.
And so again, TSM just, that extreme aggression, that Ash Arrow for the great initiation, taking advantages in this game. Is there a point where CLG, they have a lot of late game potential with Olaf and with Rise. Is there a point where you see their tankiness trumps the double AP, or is it just all this AoE? We actually might have a twisted advance once again, not going to be able to get in range, actually turning back into him, so trying to get a fight going off. We do have the Ghost from Hotshot. He's going right onto Chaos, doing a lot of damage. The rest of the team's kind of split. Oddone with the snare. We do have the St. Vicious engage, but there's the Reginald ultimate. They will be able to get out of there, not turning back onto them. So TSM able to disengage there very effectively. But
that was a very, very good fight for TSM, because if you think about it this way, TSM does have a Soraka, and they didn't really blow any CDs on that fight. Actually, no, Cassiopeia used her ultimate. Cassiopeia and Soraka, but the next fight is going to come around where I feel like they're just going to be able to press it down. I don't think they burnt many summoner spells though.
Yeah, no, most of their summoners are up still. The Ash Arrow is still up. We do have the blue buff going on to Reginald, so he was low mana. He's going to be fine. But the question is, CLG, is there a point where CLG becomes too tanky, where they can start being very effective in fights, or do they just really need great control? But once again, we have the Ash Arrow over the wall. They're not going to engage on it, trying to see if they could pick someone up right at the edge of the wall there. But is there a point where CLG, really comes into their own in this team and can just hold off until then and then try and take it, the fight to TSM head on?
I felt like there could have been a point, but AD does scale so much better than tanks. You build a person full tank and you build a person full AD. It comes to the point where even if the person has all the tanking items in the world, the AD is going to be able to rip them apart. And so when you're building tank, they scale up better early, but they don't scale as well late. Just because there's so many multiplying factors for damage for ADs. You have the crit, you have the attack speed, and you have the crit damage. So it's getting to the point where, because Hotshot fell too far behind early, that he didn't have the early game tanking advantage, and it's getting late enough where Chaos is going to have so much farm that he's going to be able to just shred through whatever Hotshot has.
And here's the key of this game. The Baron is up once again. TSM will be able to bait the fight there. We do have CLG with this counter invasion here, able to take that blue buff from Reginald. He did get their blue buff earlier, so he will have one of his own. But if TSM can maybe bait a fight at Baron, that's definitely where they have the best potential, when they can get those Ash Arrows right in the middle of the open field, and all of CLG is here.
This could be a fight.
Yeah, Shyvana is top, so we'll see whether or not TSM engages. They're actually just going to let them back off. So do you expect that TSM immediately coming to Baron, trying to bait a fight, get that Ash initiation?
So the way CLG is playing this game is they just want to continually split push and spread out TSM thin and force TSM to make a mistake. So one way you can go about that is you either group up and force a fight, or look for a fight and just force them to keep on running out. And if they run out, you continue to press forward as 5 and keep on pressing forward.
But there's the arrow from Ash onto St. Vicious. He does have his dragon form, so he will be able to get out of there. There it is. He's still slowed. We do have the Shirelias, but they're going to turn away. In the meantime, we have CLG pushing down this bottom tower, recognizing, Saints distracting him up top, taking that advantage. And so CLG, it seems like they're so just far behind, they can't really do anything. But at the same time, that great map control, we see CLG taking those advantages, but actually Chaos able to find St. Vicious, and there's the slow. St. Vicious has no escape now. He does not have his exhaust yet, so Chaos able to pick up the kill, and now we definitely have that Baron opportunity for TSM. Oh wow, we actually have a little bit of a fight there. Dyrus going to use his Zonias. CLG just going to back off. Cassiopeia coming down, so we'll see TSM move over towards this Baron. In the meantime, CLG actually going towards bot lane to see if they can take the inhibitor while TSM's Baroning. I don't know, what are your thoughts? Is this going to work out for them? We do have Cassiopeia here to slow them down.
Basically, CLG understands that if they're based on last game, they understand that they're not going to be able to contest Baron. If they do, they're going to give up even more advantage. So they're trying to trade advantage. Say, if TSM takes Baron, they're going to be an advantage. If they can take Inhib, you know, they're not going to be too behind. But at the same time, TSM recognizes that, and they're able to stop that as well.
Yeah, and so a lot of times in the past, you've seen CLG with that effective split push, recognizing, you know, hey, TSM, they're all going to Baron, but here TSM expecting it. We saw Reginald, you know, staving off the push. We saw Vladimir with the early recalls to the Baron for TSM with how strong they are already. And now CLG knows they need to make something happen. They know they need to get some, you know, big kills here, waiting to see if anyone comes down to farm the spot lane, see if they can just pick someone off. It's not happening. TSM is coming straight down this mid, but actually they were stalling for a second so that they can, you know, come up to this bot again. This is going to be a huge opportunity for TSM, though.
They can very easily be cut off. If TSM can get behind them, they can force a fight, pick off 2 or 3 people, and take a hit.
The flash from Chowster, able to avoid the arrow, and now Chaos, a little bit out of position, is going to be able to flash over the wall. CLG going to be able to get out of there. It looked like there was no hope for escape, but, you know, barely able to get out of there. Effective play from TSM. That flash from Chowster, just, you know, really awesome play.
I felt like if Chaos waited just a little bit more and let his team get close enough, instead of having to run away, they could have just full-on engaged and turned and fought that. And if they can pick off 1 or 2 kills there, it would have been a very, very easy push for them just to take down Inhib. And once Inhib is down, the super creep pressure is just going to be so much where CLG can't split push anymore.
And so TSM able to take that Dragon. It looks pretty tough for CLG right now. I heard a little bit of a CLG cheer. Can we get a bigger CLG cheer? Because they know they need to come back into this game. There you go. We'll see if they're rejuvenated. We do have TSM in the meantime pushing down this bottom lane. Shyvana going top once again, split pushing, trying to stall any way possible. Knows that you know, they would lose in that head-up fight. So we'll see whether or not Chaos gets that arrow. There's the cheers for TSM coming. You know, a hard arrow at this point in time, as long as it, you know, hits. Oh, there's actually the Banshee's gone a big fat. So one of those targets now open again. They can poke down this tower a little bit. Do you think that they're just going to tower dive for this, or just slowly poke down the tower?
As long as they understand that Shyvana is back, they can just poke it down slowly.
Well, there it is. We have the ultimate. Reginald with the flash ultimate, the Sona ultimate to counter him. Big Fat going to be able to back out of there for a second, but Hotshot very close to going down, isn't going to be able to. So CLG all able to back off, but TSM in a huge position here. They're all extremely high. Chaos chasing them down. They will back off for a second and take this free turret. They know they have it. They know they have the inhibitor. So even though they weren't able to pick up kills, CLG is back. TSM able to push this inhibitor. We'll see how they can continue this, but at this point in time, it's just, it seems so devastating for CLG. TSM just slowly wearing them down, taking those advantages. What, if anything, can CLG do at this point to stall out this game even further? Is that split push going to work still?
I feel like at this point in the game is TSM's game to lose. You know, as long as they follow standard procedures, you know, let super creeps push down bottom, push mid slowly, and take down the next inhibitor, and just take inhibitor by inhibitor, they should be fine, because there's just going to be so much super creep pressure down bottom that CLG can't effectively hold that creep pressure and defend at the same time.
And so we see this really aggressive push by CLG here. They know that TSM was backing for a second. They want to get the wave pushing. It's, you know, kind of a desperation effort. They want to just be able to stall as fast as possible because they know that if they don't do something, then the game is already lost. They need to make something happen, and that's what they're trying to do right now. Saint is going to be pushing down this bottom. Now Hotshot is coming up in this top lane, so again, that split push for CLG, and they have great survivability. It'll be key for whether or not TSM can engage on them, but if CLG keeps these waves pushed like they do, they can maybe stall out even further. Dyrus going to be getting all this farm top. And I don't know, we'll see whether or not we have a good engage from Chaos. Right now, we do have a Quicksilver Sash onto Graves. We do have the Banshee's Veil on Rise. So, you know, a number of the characters for CLG aren't necessarily the best pick-off opportunities, but if they can get that pick-off, follow it up after that Quicksilver Sash, after that Ragnarok, follow it up with another disable from Reginald or from Odd One, then they could definitely pick up that kill.
I feel like with the Ash Hero at this point, it doesn't even matter who he hits. As long as he's able to hit somebody and force them to either burn their summer spells, a flash, or a QSS, Reggie should be able to follow up with a flash Cassiopeia and just lay down the chain CC that way.
And so we saw that last game, and now Ash finishing up that Bloodthirster is, you know, a full item build now, extremely strong. Graves, on the other hand, has, you know, almost the same thing, just a little bit behind Ash. Did have that really successful early game, but, you know, all these towers, all that, those Barons just playing their toll on CLG, and now, you know, we'll probably see TSM pushing down mid. If TSM just decides to straight up push down these, you know, towers, could CLG defend it? Or actually, we'll see an engage here on Saint. So there's the arrow. Saint is going to be hit. We do have the slow from Chaos. It is going to be very tough to get away. There's the flash from Chaos. Knows that he's got Saint on the run now. He's going to be able to pick up that kill. The hawk shot, and Odd One is going to be able to get that twisted advance. The sapling toss, there it is. Chaos going to get that kill. Another kill for TSM. And Hotshot coming up here, actually maybe going to engage on Reginald. Knows he needs to be aggressive. There's the ult from Hotshot. Reginald going to need to get over this wall. Does throw off his cleanse there. So, you know, able to back off. I actually don't know what that was. It looked like a cleanse. It had the little sphere. Oh, he does have QSS. I looked for a second. I didn't see it in his item build, and I was like, where's the QSS for Reginald? But able to back off there, so another advantage for TSM, and now they can push down this mid lane. Do you think if CLG maybe sits up top, oh, they're going to recall. I was wondering if they sit up top or sit up bot, if they could maybe steal an inhibitor while TSM's pushing, maybe base race, or is it just, you know, not that potential there?
I feel like if Olaf stays up top and take inhibitor, TSM's gonna end the game. So, right. Just because, you know, with how strong TSM is, I feel like CLG cannot defend 3v5.
And so we do see the final push for TSM, seeing if they can take it down. Olaf is up top. They don't have Reginald with them, so it is a 4v4 down here. Cassiopeia brings so much to the table. Big Fat, a little bit low on mana, but, you know, Reginald going to come up here, stall Hotshot, not allow him to push. And TSM, they know how strong they are. They know that, you know, they can win these 4v4 fights. So we actually have the slow from Reginald. He's still chasing. There it is, the Shirelius from Hotshot. He still has his ultimate, but the rest of TSM is closing and closing fast. There's the Hawk shot from Ash. He is going to be chasing down Hotshot. Well, let's see if we can get the Ash arrow. There it is, trying to get the slows, trying to just slowly corner him, get him in a position where he can't do anything. There is the ultimate from Hotshot, but they will surely be able to pick him up now. Chaos will be able to get that ultimate shortly. In the meantime, CLG pushing mid, Hotshot turning back into him, but is going to go down very quickly. CLG, though, able to take that mid tower, but it just seems like too little too late. So TSM, you know, we should see them pushing down mid now. They were able to pick up that kill. Hotshot trying to split push. The split push has worked so effectively for them at stalling out the game. They're actually going to come for the Baron now. They know, you know, they're strong. If they bait CLG into a fight, they're going to win the fight. If they go for the Baron, then they're going to have Baron. So a win-win situation. You know, we could have maybe had a desperation effort from CLG to steal this Baron, but they're definitely not grouped. They're going to allow it, and TSM has the Baron now. We'll be able to push mid and see if CLG can hold it off in this last fight. But it seems like Chowster and Doublelift maybe going to backdoor a little bit. You know, just trying to see if maybe they can pick someone off. We'll recall now.
Oh, this could be an inhibitor for TSM because Graves is backing up. He might not be able to get the tower in time where he can defend it. So I don't think TSM knows, though.
And it's interesting, again, TSM knows Reginald doesn't need to be with the rest of the team. So he recognizes the threat of CLG backdooring these turrets. And so Reginald, you know, sitting off to the side, he's like, hey, I'm going to sit here. My team can take you 4v5. My team is strong enough at this point to take you 4v5 with that Baron. So they will be sitting back. We'll see. Xpecial does have that Oracle, so, you know, they know that CLG, when they're in the jungle, doesn't have that vision. But now we have it. All of TSM pushing down mid lane. They still have about, you know, 4 minutes left on that Baron, so, you know, still really long, actually 3 minutes. And they are going to push, see if they can pick someone off. It's going to be tough, but TSM looks like they're going to take it. They have this open inhibitor.
I honestly think if TSM decides to just fight under tower, they should be able to fight 5v5 under tower with Baron and with the gold advantage. However, I feel like since this game is so big for them, they're just trying to be prudent and just do things normally and take things a little bit slower and make sure that they're going to secure the victory.
And again, another slow advantage taken by TSM. They recognize how strong they are. They're just slowly pushing in, slowly wearing down CLG. I always like to look at this part as the war of attrition, but Odd One, we'll see if he goes in. We do have the snare from Rise trying to get some damage off, but Chaos could definitely have an ultimate here. They're all grouped. We could get that AoE. There is, you know, Graves trying to clear out the creep wave. Can't do it, so they're actually just going for the tower, poking that down. They do have the regen with Soraka, with Baron, that they can just sit there and engage, and actually, you know, top pushing as well, so just moving back and forth between the lanes, slowly pushing, don't want to risk anything at all. and so Chaos pushing down this tower. There is the snare. St. Vicious is going to come in. This is their last fight. We'll see if they can do it. We do have Odd One coming back into St. Vicious. We have Chaos being chased out a little bit, but he's perfectly fine. Hotshot on the other side. Reginald able to pick up the kill. There is the snare from Big Fat, but this is going to be game. Hotshot not there. TSM going to be able to take the turret, but they're going to transition bottom. They can push this in, go straight for this Nexus, and that's going to be the series. I don't know how CLG could possibly defend this. TSM just slowly pushing in though. They know that they have it under wraps. They're getting in this inhibitor. They're going to get all 3 inhibitors before they push, and then it will almost certainly be a win. So TSM taking this 2-0 against CLG. They will be your IPL4 champions. We have the last fight from CLG trying to come in here. Dyrus just too strong though with that pull over them. The Ashe slow chasing him down. St. Vicious is going to go down. Hotshot going to be chased as well. He will back off, but this is going to be the game. We're going to have the Nexus here right after the inhibitors. Here, give some noise. You know that they're sitting off to the side. They're waiting for it. Get that TSM chant going because they are the IPL4 champions.
So we use some closed captioning.
And there you have it. The crowd is going insane. TSM, one of those, favorite teams coming in. It's been questionable how well they've been doing. They've been scrimming constantly. We've seen up and downs with TSM. We've seen their struggles. The new management, Dyrus joining the team. TSM looking great this entire tournament, taking it to Dignitas in the winners finals, taking it to CLG. They went down 2-0 in that first set, but then coming back strong with the Ashe pick, with the initiation. You know they are